Hi everyone, this is year end. First of all, congratulations to everyone. This was a fantastic year for Bitcoin and so many odds that we have chosen here. Hope you have good year too. And if not, then please share because then it's not that you missed a thing of us. There's opportunity and new year is likely to unfold with more opportunities. So feel free to ask, but I'm sure that it's not. That you never had any kind of opportunity. I'm sure you had some good opportunities. And yeah, I think um, this was like a great year after 2 years of long winter. So, and next year is likely to be even better because of the good news that we are hearing. So we are looking forward for the 2024, where not just Bitcoin, but many other altcoins will start pumping. Should pump. I mean, we don't know the future, but should pump because um, stock market is improving. Macroeconomic data are not worst. I would say, if I would not say rosy. We have to keep an eye on big picture all the times. You know that. I'm not talking about 100K, 200K, 300K for Bitcoin, and there's simple reason because inflation is not coming down. Inflation is steady, and the whole entire market is anticipating inflation to go down. But seeing is believing. So unless I see inflation data, especially the core inflation data coming down, I won't talk about new all-time high. It is not a pessimistic approach. It is about being realist, and it is about um, being aware of the big picture. Who would not try to dream of something which is not there. So yes, as far as trend is concerned, trend is strong, no doubt about it. And throughout this year, we always said the trend is up, and we have been right in that regard. We never said there's a risk to the bull run or risk to the recovery, or we never said there is going to be new low and so on. Yes, there were times when we had to be careful, watchful, and some of the key supports we had to track with. But even with the altcoin, some of them were near critical. We know that, and then like APT, for example, and so many other. But we kind of stick to our game plan. We took help from the technical analysis without thinking about market news and so many other sources where we hear a lot of noise. But when we stick to a TA, it provides us clarity, and that helped us understanding what market is doing and what trend is doing. I think that's why I always, when I talk about my work, I talk about technical analysis. It's not just my work. Uh, there's so many good TAs around, and they're doing an amazing job. But definitely, the quality TAs are not many. We join the bandwagon only when things are good or when the trend is established. There are very few people who could identify the trend at early stage. Similarly, let's say this trend is going up, but there are very few people who would understand when we are near top. Likewise, but we'll all try our best to also pick up the top or near top condition. So that will be the next challenge. So we are successful in picking the bottom for Bitcoin and so many odds. Now the next big goal is to identify the top. And yeah, so we are ready for that as well. So now with that note, let's get started with our weekly update. I will start with 4 hour time frame for BTC. Now, what we're seeing here is this consolidation. We have expanded this orange box. This is taking time. So everything is taking time. As you could see, this was the peak. So that gives us the range, and this was the low. So this is called trading range. So this is consolidation. In other words, It's a horizontal movement. In this case, since December 5th, BTC would not provide any kind of opportunity because it's a range bound move. Look at this one up, it will dip up, then a bigger one up, and so on. But so after having this kind of movement, we definitely have boundaries like this. So we're tracking this boundary. We can extend this line like this, and it offers us. So these dips are not deep where it would make new low. See, the trend lines are very tricky. If you try to draw a trend line and it gives you false in breakdown like this, so it's not a bad idea to track trend line, but trend lines are inaccurate. Sometimes you have to do draw from here, and if you draw from here, let's say, then probably it will cover. You see, now if I draw like this, then it will cover. But the thing is, there's so many ways you can draw. So the question comes that when you draw a trend line, which one is right? And there's no right answer, to be honest. So that's why trend lines are just for reference point. They are not for trading. Supports and resistance that I offer and the updates that I offer has immense value in my point of view because that's a summation of so many methods that I use. You know, that's like a outcome of so many methodology. Okay, but I had to draw something sometimes, you know, otherwise you will think that, oh, this guy is not drawing anything. But once you simplify things, you don't need to draw a lot. Um, you'll understand. But sometimes you see tons of drawings in, you know, on a chart. Looks very fancy and seems like that person is really going through a lot of details, but that's sometimes very noisy. What you need to know is the boundary. So this is a boundary, right? In between you see key levels like this. Let's zoom out on the and see what is happening on higher time frame. The higher time frame, I removed some orange boxes. There were in interim time consolidation. We're now focusing only on the big ones. So this was a big one, as we know, and this is almost the same, bigger one, in fact. So maybe this looks like we'll have to extend it further, looking at this shape, and maybe it will take, looking at the pattern, it could take one more week before it picks up. And of course, we have to also consider downside potential. And we have few levels. This 39,500 is very interesting number because what I found that there is a CME gap. Those who don't know CME, CME is basically a futures exchange, fully regulated exchange in the United States, and it operates only on Monday to Friday. So and this spot market is 24/7. So what happens is this: they kind of take clue from each other, but because the futures market on CME is doesn't operate on weekends. Sometime when it opens with a high price and it creates a price gap. Means Friday closing and the Monday opening would have, or Sunday evening it opens technically. So that they create a gap. So there is a gap, CME gap at 39,700, which is also coincides with this. What does it mean? That in worst case scenario, okay, if this trading range is broken, so let me draw that scenario. In that case, it could retest, maybe try to attempt and retest this spot. Now something like this. This could go higher and go down. So I'm just depicting this scenario and retest this and then bounce on the upside. Like where is my like this? So in this case, we can say this will delay the process. Okay, there's no fundamental difference between breaking out from here and breaking. Only thing is in terms of time it delays. And the best case scenario is, of course, this it goes straight like this. So I would say this, maybe I will draw with a different color, pink one. Yeah. So this one is alternative one. This is best case scenario, like when it goes up and breaks above and goes for 50K level or so. And this is kind of alternative route where it retests this 39,000, mid 39,000 range, which also coincides with CME. So on one day, I would say, I think I can bump up this one, and then you can say warning only if it breaks below 30,100. See, we are raising this one. If you have noticed, right? We are raising this one. I would keep this risk levels at this level now. So we're bumping it. We're trailing it, if you notice. So now this scenario, I think we have to kind of expand like this. And I'll put them in middle. Maybe I should have different colors. Blue. So the blue is best case scenario. Green is depicting the path, this one, coverage. And then this pink is alternative path. So everything leads to the same. Only difference is the time gap, right? Whether it's early January or later in January. So if the ETF is approved, market will go crazy, that. And in that case, it could take this path, right? And much more. If the ETF is delayed, it could go down. And the big question is when this CME gap will be filled. Now, historically, CME gaps are filled. That's for sure. I would say 9 out of 10 times, or if I take a larger scale, then 95 times out of 100 times, that kind of thing. So in most of the cases, almost all the cases, CME gap is filled. So in my, if that trend continues, then whether from here or from 50K, it it has to come down once before it goes up for previous all-time high, which is like 66K. So that is a tricky part, and nobody knows in the world could tell that when. But the thing is, we had to track the support level. So for us, let's say 41,450 becomes the immediate support, but at this range, if that is broken, then 39,500 becomes another support. This is very easy way to track it, and you can track these lows as well if you want in between. But then it's very close, so it doesn't make sense. So if you track 40,100, then the 39,500, 700 is so close that it doesn't make any difference. So instead of tracking this low, I would track this 41,000, let's say 400, this low, which low? 29th of December low, I'll track. And if that is broken, then I would look for this one. So that's an easy way to monitor. So you may set alert on this level, for 41,000, let's say 250 or 200, right? And another one. Yeah, so if that is broken, then there is potential downside risk, like touching this one. And again, this becomes the point of retest. But at this moment, since it's bouncing, we cannot say it's fallen dumping path. But unless and until it breaks above the higher range, which is, let's say 44K, roughly speaking, it has ideally 44,450 has to be broken above. But let's say around about 44K, it can touch, then it should go and follow the blue path. So as you could see, then we can think about different scenario based on a key level. So if I had to summarize, I would say if 44,400 is broken above, then it will look for 48K or 50K. There can be a one more extended level at near 50K, which I discovered. I haven't added here, but I can add. I can add now, which is 50K. That is an extension of R5. And so that's the best case scenario is once the 44,400 is broken above. If the 41,250 is broken below, then we can say this pink path is likely to be followed where, you know, and of course, if this is broken, we'll have to see if it breaches warning level. And if we look at big picture, even 39,500 is not a problem. Only thing is if it breaks below 38,100, that's a trouble. Right? This is just for knowledge. This is not probability, right? The probability of continue on the upside is high. As I said, I think only one thing can derail. One is um, the inflation number. Inflation number in November didn't go down actually in the US. In the UK, it improved for sure. So we had to see. So there are good news in some regions, but the US data are the most important data because the US numbers making and move the market, as you know, because the Fed's policy is going to be driven out of those things. So the market basically is expecting rate cuts next year, and that anticipation is based on cooling down of inflation. Everything is tied up with inflation. So that's why I put a lot of emphasis on inflation data every month from a big picture point of view, because if inflation number goes up again in December, which we'll come to know in January, mid-January, right? So if the December inflation go up, then the market would react accordingly. But it depends on how much, right? If it remains flat, then market would not care. But if it goes up significantly, then we'll see the difference. So I'm not a person who is thinking of any breakdown or downside, but at the same time, um, I'm being mindful of the condition where when real big number can be achieved. At this moment, we can simply say that the trend is up, the recovery path. When I say recovery means 66K was the all-time high and 15K was the let's say low. So since then it is recovering, right? Because it has to first recover um, the the last level, right? Last all-time high. Let me zoom out. So and maybe zoom out with the weekly. If you look at this chart or a weekly time frame. So this is the all-time high. This is the all-time high, and this is an attempt of new all-time high, which kind of very close, and then break down, and then this is the low, like 15K range. And now the whole entire thing is recovery process. Right? It is now near this level, which is 48K, 50K. So it seems the 48K, 58K level is the high probable level. And after that, it could retest 39,500 and then go up as we discuss. Right? But the whole entire process is recovery of this loss. So once it reaches the same level, then we can say it is fully recovered. And the whole entire progress is very positive. This is positive, right? So on this chart, I think we don't have anything major to be discussed. We have another layout. We talked about this layout, right? This is very good chart. If I zoom out, this upside move down, another upside move down. You see, it's maintaining this magical line I call it just for fun. This is really a magical line actually. I should make it green. It is a magical line because this major code, in fact, this retest was here. If you look at closely, and then closing was here. I know the low was below, but the closing was here. If you look at this online chart, you will appreciate this magical line. If I may remove this for a moment. You see this, that's why I call magical line. You will see when you track closing, you would appreciate more. So this is a magical line. Here we know that if this was the real test, this was the so we had two major tests actually. This was the real test, and also this was CME gap. By the way, if you're not aware, let me open it for you. Look at this one. So this is CME futures. The price would be different. The weekend the market is closed as you could see, right? Uh, there was a gap here in month of January this year, and then the gap was filled. So this was major move, you know that, and but it filled up the gap. Now after that, there's one more gap. This one, I had this gap finder indicator. It shows me the gap here and another gap here. See this correction touched but not really filled. Here it came down, but here really perfect filled up. So that's why it's very important. I have analyzed that other gaps will fill. Now this was filled later on, very late, very sometime it takes time. This was interesting. There was a gap and it was filled here. You see? Yeah, like that. So it sometimes it takes days or sometimes weeks. Very interesting. But when you analyze, you'll understand that these gaps are tricky ones. Luckily, they don't create many gaps, so that's a good part. Okay, so we saw CME gaps as well. That's why the mid 39,000 range. Let's see this orange level is 39,700 something. So that is important. Yes. Whether it will happen here or from 50, we don't know. So that's why we have to track those supports. Okay, so this is I think good enough. We can have a quick look at the X1. So DXY has broken the support, which is good news. It has now came under this channel, actually, which is another good news, not just broken the support, but within this orange line, which is good. So we would like it to continue and touch this and not just touch it, follow this and touch the green level. Let me see what I have in this layout. Zoom DXY, but I might have some different. No, I don't have anything. That's all right. So this is good news, right? And that's why everything is so positive at this moment. We can have a look at 10-year treasury because that's another important one. So this is our so this perfect retracement, as you could see, from orange, it came down perfectly, like this was perfect. And not just that, it broke below this one. This was also we wanted to see. So it has done two good things. One is it retraced from this orange level, which we wanted. Second, breaking below this we wanted, which is good. However, the last, this is the most critical one. It must break below 3.2, 3.3 range, because that's the ultimate support. If this is broken, then the whole entire structure is broken. And so now I think we'll have to see. Okay. So still it has to break below this support. As you can see, the bull run is not over yet for 10-year year. So it has come down to this level, but we can't say this is over. It's far from it. And that's why I'm not talking about 100K, 200K, 300K level. But I'm positive because this has to go down. But this has actually led to 2022 crash. And this is always early in the game. Bond market is always ahead in the game. From a macroeconomic point of view, if you look at the bull run started from 2020 during the COVID because it realized the inflation number. Though the Fed policy was not changed, the bond market is so smart. They are always ahead. So that's why tracking bonds are very important in my experience. You will look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq is touched the new all-time high, which is amazing. Which is amazing. So look at this one. So this is perfect, kind of V-shaped recovery. It's not V-shaped, like expanded V or there's no W. Yeah, W, we can say W. Yeah. But anyway, it has recovered fully. So we can say the stock market ahead of Bitcoin in terms of recovery because Bitcoin hasn't recovered fully yet. But anyway, this is one of the leading indicators, which is giving us good confidence. What else? So now we should start with all the odds. Yeah. Okay. Starting with APT, alphabetical order. So there are some volatility. I mean, it's not like this quick 1, 2, 3. It is recovering, and this is all right. It's zigzag, but remember we were here 5, and now it's 9.6, almost double. So this is recovering for sure, looking good. The BSV is amazing, isn't it? Like it has shattered R1. We talked about positive consolidation. If you look at last few weeks, I've been saying the case date is moved by 1 month. Now it's starting from 5th of February. Craig is asked to deposit $1 more million by UK High Court. So and then the extra time is given for that. And once that is done, the trial will start from 5th of February. The market is making a move. It has doubled. Basically, it was near 35.40. Now it is about, yeah, it's close to 100. It had crossed 100. So we can say double in very short time. So it took a while, but then it made such a move in last 3, 4 days that it recovered everything. So even despite of this case, even if you think from a regular alt point of view, this is doing well. So this is in list for both the reasons because this is not just going down or moving sideways. It is making progress, right? From $30 to 3. So this is already 3x. So this is satisfying in a way. And if Craig wins, then havoc, nightmare for other coins. Total total disruption. Dogecoin. That's the next. It's a dormant coin at this moment. However, it's following this path. Right. So this was broken above, went up, consolidating, and just following this path. So this is still a valid path. You see this very big curve, and somehow it will meet this one. So making slow progress. And once it is here, actually it will complete this loop, and this R1 becomes a breakout level. So this is bottom formation. To me, this is consolidation on a large scale at this moment. And real moment would be like this range. Let me depict for you. Because this is still forming bottoms. And it has a huge breakout range like this. You see, 0.18 would be the ultimate level when so we'll see acceleration. Should see. Actually, I should not say that. We will see. So that's positive. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum is sluggish, we know. It is kind of stuck to this 23,000, 2,300 level. Nevertheless, it's positive because it hasn't broken. So I think if it breaks below 2000, then only it's a point of concern, and especially if it breaks below this trend line, then there's a point of concern at this moment that this is okay. The boring F50 is moving up nicely. Not much progress this week, however, the overall trend is really good. So happy with that. FIL is now getting some momentum, as we can see. Still, this is slow progress compared to some of the odds we have seen, but nevertheless, this is very positive, and I like that it's following this path. Very good. So this is another bottom formation, like I said for those. This is a huge bottom formation. Some coins made progress in 2023 this year, and some coins are likely to make progress in next year. FTM has reached to this level. Remember this. So this is very good. Now it retraced a bit, which we depicted by this arch. You see this arch. This so it was expected because that's a pattern, and that's why that's kind of a loop it could create for a couple of weeks or maybe longer, and then breaks out. I mean, it's not a rule. The point is this heavy resistance zone all the way to R2, R3, and then there is acceleration. So this is another coin which did amazingly well in past, and right now it's in process of bottom formation. The range is so big you won't understand otherwise. ING has been a star, isn't it? Like this amazing coin. It broke. We started with here, even if we are late in adding it because we can add only a few, not so many. This is very positive. It is going up, and R2. I'll give you R3 as you know, as it progresses. CAS CAS has bounced after breaking this support. This support was important. This was support was not important, but it was an immediate support. Now we see the bounce. So now it should continue, and then go for R1. Link is still in consolidation phase. That's why we have this orange box. There were two major terms, this one and this one. Everything is positive. If it is taking time, it's not a matter of frustration. This is how it works. There's a huge pump, consolidation, and there is going to be another leg up. This is how things work, and one has to understand. From education point of view, it's to be understood how consolidation works and how why investor or trader has to be patient. Matic, we can see that it had this consolidation that's breaking apart. So the role of this blue path is over. We can set this blue path because it has done its job. We can remove it. Now we can see that this line is playing the role. Once this is broken, which looks like it's likely to break above, then the R1 and R2 and so on. So, but what is more important here, if you look at it, it is following this big path that we had from the beginning. It takes time, but it's good to see how it is progressing. When it was here, it was scary. When it was here, we were comfortable, and now this is really good. See the big picture. See the big picture. You see the oil? Beautiful. So it's now this beak-like structure is trying to break. We call pennant or symmetrical triangle. It's trying to break that symmetrical triangle. This turquoise color. This is perfect. So this is resistance line. We can adjust a little, and we can say there some resistance here, but that's why it's taking time. But nevertheless, this is normal, and once this is broken, it will go for the previous all-time high. It's looking very good. Oh, are you any? Slowing down. Um, looks like it's so painting. Yeah. Okay. So the room had touched R4 come down. We know that it's consolidating at R3, which is good. Just good. Okay. Now what? Next is R5, which I'll give you should be around 12. So this is very positive. So it has touched R3, but only if it breaks below R2, it's point of concern. Otherwise, this is nothing. This is very positive. SOL has been strong. Um, some retracement, which is obvious near R7. I'll give you R8. Once R7 is broken, super strong at this moment on a weekly basis. PIA came down, but not very broken R2, which is good. It should touch R3 next. It came down early. There's not enough data for macro analysis, to be honest, because this is a newly listed coin, so very limited data on a to track this on a weekly time frame. Very few candles. Anyways, so overall everything looks good. So the year end looks really good, and this is very different from what we had in year 2022, which was horrible. I mean, where things started going downwards. So this is very encouraging for everyone, and I'm sure you all enjoying this bull run. Yes, so we end here, and again, wish you all the best for the next year. Hope you get a prosperous new year, and yeah, very happy new year to everyone. See you soon. Bye.